Hello, traders. FX Pip Collector here. Today is Saturday, and it is June 8th, and this is my series where I like to go through the full list on the daily time frame and take a look at everything in kind of a weekend recap, kind of tell you where my targets are, where I expect price to go, and every single pair that I look at right here, I do cover in my daily Zoom meetings that I do every single day for my premium members. So every single day I do cover every single one of those pairs in my London live stream, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 a.m., lasting about 90 minutes, starting at 8 a.m. UK time. And every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I do a 90-minute to 2-hour Zoom meeting for the New York session. I like to call it Learn and Earn at the same time because while I'm teaching you to trade by following along with my trading course and attending my live Zoom meetings that I do every single weekday, hopefully you're going to be earning by following along with my swing trades because every single swing trade I do take, I do provide to the group at the time of entry with my stop loss. As far as take profits go, I don't really use take profits in my trading because I really do not like to limit myself to how much money I can make in a move in the market. But I provide all entries, all swing trade entries to the group at the time of entry. And like I said, every single thing on this list right here I cover every single day. And I also just recently started covering all these indices too. The indices are also a really, really great thing to cover. We've had some really, really amazing trades in the previous week on some of these indices, sold in the UK and the US 100 and the JPY. We had some very, very profitable trades this week. So anyways, we're going to go through the full list right here. We're going to cover everything on the daily time frame, and I'm going to let you know where my targets are, where I expect price to go, and we need to keep in mind that the coming up week is a interest rate week, federal funds week for the US dollar. So I think everybody is going to be waiting to see if the US is going to end up lowering interest rates like Canada and Europe did this week. I personally think that they're probably not going to because Powell said right from the beginning that he will not be lowering interest rates until they get to that 2% CPI, and we're still at around 3.4% CPI, so I don't really think that they're actually going to lower interest rates this week for the dollar, but if they do, it's going to be a big surprise to the market. So let's start off at the bottom of this list. We're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to work our way all the way up the list to the more popular pairs, the euro dollar. And we're going to just look at the daily time frame and just do a kind of the roadmap time frame. The daily time frame for me is the roadmap time frame that tells me what I should be doing on all the sort of time frames. So on Bitcoin, I do think that Bitcoin is very likely ended a wave four, not too long ago. I think this is a wave three. There's a big wave one down here, wave two. I think we're still in a wave five. I still expect this to be a one, two, three, four, and I still think it's going to make its way at least up to around the $75,000 area because we have a 50% Fibonacci extension. Most wave fives actually do go to the 61.8, so I wouldn't be surprised if it did make its way up to around $78,000 to hit that 61.8 Fibonacci extension of wave 3. So, I definitely would be looking for longs in an uptrend still. Natural gas is another one that is, I was kind of hoping that it was going to make another push down, to be honest with you, before it actually took off to the upside, but it kind of looks like it already has the ABC cretin. My target for this is up here. I think it's going to go up and sweep these highs because I do think that this is a wave 5 on the weekly and monthly time frame. If this is a wave 5 on the weekly and monthly, then it definitely should be taking out the high of wave 4. I would expect this whole move up to either be a wave A or a wave 1. In either scenario, I would expect it to at least go up to this target and perhaps even higher. So definitely primarily looking for longs on that. Now, oil definitely does have 5 waves right here. You really do have to keep in mind that the market likes to make 5 wave and 3 wave patterns. So possibly this thing could turn into a bigger cretin. It might even go up and take out the high. Now, my target for this is actually down here a little ways, which makes me think that it's not going to do that, that it's more likely that this is just going to make a 3 wave pullback, potentially go up to a Fibonacci level and then end up going down to finish off what I think is a wave C, which I actually think is a wave C of wave B. So I'm definitely watching these fib levels, especially like the 61.8 and the 50 because there's a lot of support and resistance at those levels. So definitely looking for 3 waves up. I'm definitely looking for a Fibonacci bounce to go short for the continuation of the downtrend. Taking it up to silver, I honestly still think silver and gold are going to go up. Now, silver and gold both made some very dramatic moves, but I am definitely still looking at these fib levels. Like I said, we have interest rate coming out this week, which is definitely going to affect all the dollar pairs, including gold and silver. I personally still think it's either going to bounce from the 51 to the 60% Fibonacci retracement, and I still think that we have a pretty decent amount of upside potential on this also. If you zoom out quite a ways, which you have to zoom out quite a ways, I personally think that this is still a wave C, and I think it's going to go up to about the $36 an ounce area eventually. So, anyways, let's keep on going. Let's take a look at gold. Like I said, gold and silver did make a very dramatic turn on Friday. Definitely very dramatic. And this could even possibly stretch out into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it does, it would probably be an expanding flat. But I don't know if it's really going to do that. I don't think it has enough time to do that between now and the news. I mean, I would definitely still be watching these fib levels. I would definitely still be looking at, the 78 or the 100% Fibonacci extension to be a kind of a likely area for this actually to turn up. My target on gold is still $2,550. And I still think that we are definitely in a wave 3 on the weekly and the monthly time frame. So my wave 3 target is 2550. So we are definitely going down now, and I definitely think you should be looking for shorts on sort of time frames because it could possibly stretch out to one of these lower Fibonacci levels before it decides to go up. But at some point, I definitely think it's going to go up and make its way up towards that 2550 area. So moving on to the Kiwi Swiss. The Kiwi Swiss has definitely made a pretty dramatic turn down. I was actually thinking that most of these Swiss pairs were actually going to make another move up, but honestly, this Kiwi Swiss looks like it might have already ended a WXY, and if it has ended a WXY, then potentially this thing is going to make lower lows, lower highs, and eventually go back down. Possibly a wave 4. We possibly are in a wave 5 right now, which would most likely go down and take out the low of wave 3. So, looking for shorts in a downtrend until proven otherwise. The Kiwi CAD, all the Kiwi pairs actually made a pretty dramatic turn. It did not bounce off a fib level, which is why I'm still not really 100% convinced. We don't have a breaker structure to the downside. We don't have a lower high. We do not have a Fibonacci bounce. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this move was actually just a crescent to this last wave and this ended up continuing up towards that 50%. Probably right around the 0.854 area would be my likely target for that. Moving on to the CAD Swiss. Now, like I was just saying, I personally think most of the Swiss pairs are actually going to make another move up. I think this is an A. I think it's 3 waves up for B. I think we're now in a wave C. 100% level is a likely area for the wave C to end. So if this does start to make very impulsive moves up, especially if we get a break of structure on like the 4-hour time frame, I definitely would call that the end of a wave C, and I would definitely take it back up. I think there's a good chance this is like a wave 1, this is like a big ABC of 2, and we're getting ready to go up for a big wave 3. Which, if that's the case, then the Kiwi Swiss may also do something very similar. And all the other Swiss pairs, actually. So moving on to the Aussie Kiwi, I definitely think the Aussie Kiwi ended a crescent a few weeks ago also. But as you can see, we do have a Fibonacci bounce. We do have a pretty impulsive move up. I would guess that this is only a crescent to this last wave down. I would definitely assume that this is just going to make 3 waves up, make a lower high, and end up continuing the downtrend. I think it's going to break out of this channel, and I think it's going to make a pretty significant move to the downside, especially if you look at it on the weekly or the just zoom out on the daily. I think it's going to make a trend where it is going to be at least equal to the size of this trend. So, that is actually a long ways to the downside. So I definitely think you need to be looking for shorts at the end of 3-way pullbacks, especially on shorter time frames. Taking it to the Aussie Swiss, like I was saying, I expect most of these Swiss pairs to continue up personally. If we zoom back in, I honestly think that we're either in an expanding flat or we are in a running flat. This is definitely 5 waves down. What's really running flats and expanding flats is supposed to be 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and 5 waves down. But sometimes you do get the 5 wave, 3 wave, 5 wave expanding flat look. I definitely would call this 1, 2, 3 waves up. I would definitely call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. I think there's a good chance we could bounce off the 100% or the 78.6. If we do make that big bounce, if we do make a break of structure, then I definitely think it's the end of a crescent, and I definitely would start going long again for the continuation of the uptrend. But definitely look for shorts until you have proof that this is over, because it could stress out to the 100, maybe even the 123.6. The Aussie CAD, all the CAD pairs made a pretty significant turn. I'm not really convinced that these trends are over. I honestly think there's a pretty good chance that this is an A, this is a B, and this is a C. And one of the major reasons is we don't even have a Fibonacci bounce on the weekly time frame yet. So yeah, it may go down a little bit more. You probably should be looking for shorts, but you have to keep in mind that this is probably a correction to the uptrend, and eventually it probably really is going to end up continuing back up. So moving on to the pound kiwi, man, the pound kiwi and the Euro kiwi definitely made a very significant turn. We were originally thinking that this was going to be like 1, 2, 3 down, one up, 1, 2, 3 down, and then up again to make like 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and then 5 waves down is what we were originally thinking. And now that we got this huge impulsive move, I think this probably is going to make a 5 wave trend, which will go up and take out that high. And this right here is actually an A, and this is like a running flat A, B, C, or B, and now we're going up for the wave C. Then, once that wave C is over, I think it's going to make a 5 wave pattern to the downside. So definitely be looking for longs on that. The pound Aussie is a trade that I've been in for more than 3 weeks, and we've already added to this trade at least 3 times already, and I'm looking to add to it probably at least another 2 or 3 times along the way up. Just like the pound Kiwi, I definitely think this is a 1, 2, 3 pattern. And by the way, all the trades that I do enter, with the pound Aussie, I'm in 3 times. I got in down here. I got in with a limit order right here, and then I also Friday got in again right there. Every single one of these entries I share with the group at the time of entry. Every single one of my swing trades I share with all my premium members at the time of entry. So if you are interested in joining, there's no commitment. You can just join for 1 month, and if you're not happy, you can leave. But I definitely think you will be happy that you join by at my website, FXPipCollector.com. So definitely check that out if you are interested. I personally think this is going up for a wave C of either a expanding flat or a running flat, just like the pound Kiwi. I think it's going to make 5 waves down once it completes this move to the upside, which I think is a wave C of either a running flat or an expanding flat. Pound Swiss, just like the other Swiss pairs, I definitely think this is an ABC correction. And just like the other ones, I think this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, which I didn't draw that very well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3 waves up. The part that really gives it away for me is the 3 waves up. Then I think this is 5 waves down. I think it could be a running flat, and if it is a running flat, then it's actually likely to turn at one of these Fibonacci levels and make a higher low than this. Maybe take out this low right here like that, but I think this is going to end up ending at wave C, and I think it's going to end up continuing back up. Until you actually see that engulfing move up in the breaker structure, you definitely want to be a little bit cautious about going long, but as of right now, you should be looking for shorts, but you have to keep in mind we are probably very close to ending a wave C of a running flat ABC correction. So taking it up to the pound CAD. The pound CAD, we have a couple Fibonacci levels up here. We got the 123, and if you actually squish this down a little bit, we also got the 138. I think that both of those are very, very likely targets for this. There's definitely no reason to think that this is over, and I honestly think that it's probably more likely to go up to one of these higher fibs. I honestly think it's possibly a wave 3 anyways on the monthly time frame, so it may actually blow right by these fib levels. I'm sure it's going to make some pullbacks along the way, probably at the fib levels, but I definitely would still be looking for longs at the end of 3 way pullbacks on shorter time frames. The Yo Kiwi, a bunch of members of the group took longs on the Yo Kiwi on Friday. Really nice mover. Now, just like the pound Kiwi, probably what's going to happen now is this is probably going to make a 5 wave uptrend, which will probably go all the way up to these highs. And this is actually an A. This is actually an A, B, C of B. And this is actually probably in the wave C right now. This is probably not the wave C right there. We're probably 1, 2, 3 waves down, 1, 2, 3 waves up for a wave C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So a 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down, probably a regular flat, or maybe even a running flat or an expanding flat. Either way, it doesn't matter because it's probably going to come up and sweep these highs before it does make a move to the downside. So moving on to the Euro-Aussie, this is another trade that I've been in for several weeks. We originally got in down here, and now that we actually have a breaker structure, I'm definitely going to be looking to add to this thing. I want to get in this at least 3 or 4 more times before it makes its way up here. That's how swing traders make a killing in these markets, is by adding to their winning trades. So I'm definitely looking for it to go up and sweep these highs right here, just like the Euro Kiwi and the pound Kiwi and pound Aussie. I think this is 3 waves down. I think this is 1, 2, 3 waves up. So 3, 3, 5 pattern. which a 335 pattern is normally either a regular flat, a running flat, or an expanding flat. So I'm expecting it to look something like this. We've been in this trade for over 2 weeks already, and I'm going to look to add to this thing at least 2 or 3 more times on the way up, so that way we can build a very large, very, very profitable trade. And every single time I add to this trade, I will be sharing it with all my people in the membership. So like I said, if you are interested, it is only $30 a month. I share every single swing trade with my group at the time of entry. Comes with the trading course, and it comes with the twice a day, except for on Monday. I only did one meeting on Monday, but every single weekday we do a live Zoom meeting where we cover every single thing on that list. I am definitely a swing trader slash day trader. I am definitely not a scalper. So if you do join the membership, just realize that I am definitely not a scalper. I have no desire to even look at the sort of time frames. I don't even look at pretty much anything below the 1 hour time frame. So, anyways, let's move on to the euro pound. Euro pound is definitely still going down. I mean, we do have one, two, three, four, five waves, and this fifth wave also has a little bit of a one, two, three, four, five wave look to it. I would be keeping an eye on this 78.6 Fibonacci extension. Maybe it's going to go there and then turn back up, break structure, and turn up in a big way. But it doesn't have to do that. It could easily just make a bounce, make a lower high, make a lower high, and just keep on trending down, which is why for now I am definitely trading with the trend, and I am definitely looking for shorts in a downtrend. Moving on to the Euro Swiss, just like the other Swiss pairs, I definitely think this is either a running flat or an expanding flat. Impulse a down wave A, one, two, three waves up, which is what gives it away for me. Wave B, I think we're in a wave C right now. I think we're going to get a bounce off one of these Fibonacci levels, and I think we're going to end up continuing back up. Probably five waves up for one, probably a running flat wave two, or an expanding flat wave two, and then probably up for a big old giant wave three. So, moving on to the Euro CAD. EuroCAD definitely did make a little bit of a turn, and we are at the 78%, which I think explains why. I personally think the EuroCAD is not over, and even if it does end up being like some sort of an expanding flat, then I personally think it needs to go up quite a bit further, because this looks like one, two, three waves down, wave A. This could be one, two, and then one, two, three, four, five of A, B, C of B. So this definitely could be an expanding flat wave B. A lot of people in my group are definitely calling it an expanding flat wave Bs, which I definitely agree with. But even if it is an expanding flat wave B, I think it needs to go up to one of these higher fib levels like the 123 or the 138 before we get that bigger push to the downside. So I would definitely still be looking for longs. I mean, yeah, we definitely got a pretty significant fib bounce, but that is a 78% Fibonacci retracement. That is an area of resistance pretty much always, whether it turns there or not. I think it's probably just a correction to the last wave up. I think it's just going to make another correction, and I think it's going to continue for now to make higher highs and higher lows. So moving on to the yen pairs, I do kind of fly through the yen pairs because really they're doing all exactly pretty much the same thing. I am definitely extremely bullish on the yen pairs. Every single one of them I still think is a wave 3 on the weekly monthly time frame. There's no break of structure, there's no Fibonacci bounce, there's no reason at all to do anything except for look for longs on these yen pairs. One thing you have to realize is that the yen pairs are in a 4-year uptrend right now. And I don't know about you, but I am definitely not trying to identify the top of a 4-year uptrend because it could turn into a 5 or a 6-year uptrend. We don't really know. This thing could literally just keep on stretching out for another year or two for all we know. So what am I going to do? I am going to trade with the trend, and I am going to get in every single pullback I see on every single yen pair. Every single time I see a pullback, I'm going to be thinking to myself, that's going to be a really good opportunity to go long at the end of this pullback. Most people see a 4-year uptrend and they're like, oh my god, I need to go short. It's going up. I need to go short. I need to go short. You would make so much more money if you did absolutely nothing over the last 4 years except for go long every single chance you got on these yen pairs, which is exactly what I'm doing on every single one of them. I mean, yeah, some of them have definitely made a move to the downside. I would be surprised if they did go down a little bit more before they went up, but I am extremely bullish on every single yen pair. Some of them have definitely turned down. Every single move down on the yen pairs, I do look at nothing beyond a correction to the uptrend. So like I said, on every single yen pair, I am doing absolutely nothing but looking to go long every single chance I get at the end of every single pullback I see. A lot of them are going down. Some of them may actually drift down a little bit further. Even if they do, I don't really care. I'm going to pretty much be focused on going long at the end of these pullbacks for the continuation of the uptrend. Some of them really don't even look like they're going to go down much more. Some of them look like they could just keep on drifting up pretty much now. I definitely would be looking for three-way pullbacks to go long on the sort of time frames on every single one of these yen pairs. 1, 2, 3 waves down and continuation of the uptrend. So moving on to the dollar. The dollar definitely did make a pretty significant move up. I do make full top-down videos every day on the US dollar yen. I personally think this is going up to at least a 78.6, and it might even stretch out beyond that. It definitely looks like we're in a wave 5 of 5 on the monthly time frame. Just like the other yen pairs, it possibly could go down and make a more proper A, B, C, or B before it does go up. But I ignore every single sort on the yen pairs. I don't even really care about the sorts. What I care about is going long every single pullback I get. I consider the dollar yen way more of a yen pair, so I treat it just like a yen pair. What's for the yen pairs, for me, all I do is look for longs at the end of pullbacks on sort of time frames. The dollar Swiss, just like the other Swiss pairs, I do suspect that this could make a pretty significant move to the upside. And just like the other Swiss pairs, I definitely think we're in a wave C. Now, this move up is pretty strong. I kind of feel like that we do have another push down before it actually does go up. But if this thing does just keep on maintaining that impulsive move up, then you definitely need to stop looking for shorts and you definitely need to start looking for longs. As of right now, I do think that this could be an ABC on the sort of time frames. We do have interest rate coming out this week on June 12th, which is on Wednesday, so that is going to affect all the dollar pairs in a very significant way, which I kind of feel like it is going to cause the dollar pairs to go down, in my opinion. Now, looking at the dollar CAD, I still kind of think this is a top right here. I still think it's a wave B. The dollar CAD has been so sideways for probably almost a month or more now. I still think there's some clarity here, though. I think this is still a wave 1. I still think this is either an ABCDE or some sort of a complex correction. I still think this move up is going to make a lower high, and I still think this is probably a wave 2, and we're probably going to go down for a big old giant wave 3 when it's ready. So moving on to the Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar made a very significant turn. Not only did we have Kiwi weakness, but we had dollar strength on Friday, which made this look like a very significant turn. Now, I still think this is the end of a correction back here. I still think this is all subdivisions of a wave 3, but we're probably going to need to make a wave 1 of 3 and a wave 2 of 3. According to the Proctor and Gerald Sanders Elliot wave books, where do wave 1s normally end? Wave 1s normally end around the high of a wave 4 or a wave B in this circumstance, and that's exactly where this ended. So I actually think that this could be like an expanding flat because I think this could be 3 waves up, impulsive down. I personally think we're already in that wave C, probably a wave C of wave 2, which I do expect to take out the lows. But I do totally expect that this is going to end up continuing up. I think that we're already in that wave 2 of wave 3, and I think it's going to keep on going up. Wave 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and wave 3 of 3. I think this Wednesday, all the dollar pairs are most likely going to continue the uptrend. So moving on to the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar is way more clear that it's going down in a wave C, and also the Aussie dollar also made 5 waves up, and right towards the top of the wave B is where it ended a wave 1. Now I think we're in an A, B, C of 2. I think this is going to end a wave 2 this week, and it's probably going to start its wave 3. Wave 3 is supposed to be the strongest wave of a trend, so it's definitely going to be a trade that you're going to want to try to get into. I think this right here, 5 waves up, is a wave 1. I think this is a big ABC of 2. I think this is all just subdivisions of a wave 3. So a 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and wave 3 of wave 3. So moving on to the last 2 pairs. Before I do so, I just want to remind you that every single day in my Zoom meetings, I do cover every single one of these pairs from top to bottom, full top-down analysis, all the way down to the 1-hour time frame. And I also am now covering all the indices, all these indices right here. I'm also covering for my premium members. We had 4 or 5 trades on these indices last week, and I think every single one of them was profitable. So definitely join the membership if you want. Like I said, it is only $30 a month. I've had several people tell me that the membership is only $30 a month, and they've made several $1,000s trading prop firm accounts, following along with my swing trade setup. So I mean, it is definitely worth the money. I keep it extremely cheap on purpose because I want people to feel like they can afford it, and I want people to learn and earn at the same time. The main focus of this membership is for you to learn how to trade. That's why I have the trading course and the live trading sessions every single day. I want you to learn to trade, but while you're learning, I want you to hopefully build confidence by earning a little bit of money by following along with some of my swing trades, which I provide every single swing trade I take with the group at the time of entry with stop loss. Moving on to the pound dollar, just like the other dollar pairs, I think if anything, this is probably just a wave two. I mean, it's probably like a wave one, it's probably a wave two, and I think it's going to go up for a wave three. I would be looking for shorts at least for now because I think it's pretty obvious this is a 1, 2, 3. It's probably a 1, 2, 3 of C on the sort of time frames. There's probably a wave A in here, a wave B in here. If you went down to the 4-hour time frame, I think there's probably a wave one, probably a wave two, and just like the other dollar pairs, I definitely think this is a wave three. I think this is 5 waves up for a wave one. I think this is like an expanding WXY for like a wave two, and I think this is already in a wave three, so that makes this a 1 of 3, a 2 of 3, and a wave 3 of wave 3. If you've seen my full top down of videos, you know exactly what I expect to see on the weekly and monthly time frames. So moving on to the euro dollar. Euro dollar made a very significant turn. We ended up in my members group on Friday, the Zoom meeting. I told everybody literally 2 minutes before the news came out, non-farm payroll, that I was going short on the euro dollar. And we ended up making a probably close to a 4-to-1 trade in a matter of a few minutes when the news came out. It was very, very obvious that the euro dollar was going to go down during the live Zoom meetings, which the news came out at 1:30 UK time, and we are in a New York Zoom meeting at 1 p.m. UK time, which is around 90 minutes to 2 hours long. I do it at 1 p.m. UK time because usually the US news comes out at 1:30 UK time. So pretty much all the dollar news comes out while we're in a Zoom meeting, and we look for trades together in these Zoom meetings every single day of the week except for Mondays. Monday we do a London live stream, but we do not do a live stream on New York on Mondays. So, like I said, literally 2 minutes before the news came out, we ended up getting in right here on the euro dollar with about a 25 pip stop loss, and I ended up getting out right before my live stream, probably right about here. And that was all the profit that we made in the meeting together. Extremely, extremely, extremely profitable day on Friday. I made 3% on my trade account just between like Thursday and Friday last week. And every single trade I take, I do share with the group at the time of entry. So just like the other dollar pairs, I think there's probably a wave one in here. I think this is already an A. I think this is already a B. I think we're already in a wave C. I think that most likely this Friday we're going to end the wave two, and I think most likely this Friday we're going to continue the uptrend for most likely a big old giant wave three. So that's pretty much what I expect to see out of all the dollar pairs. Like I said, I do cover every single pair on this list in every single one of those meetings that I do for my premium members. And just in the last week or two, I started covering all of these indices. And I think probably around the end of the month, we're probably going to start covering some commodities too, because there's actually some really good opportunities on like platinum, palladium, cotton, sugar, soybean, and some of those also. So we definitely cover a lot of pairs. I think altogether we cover about 40 some odd pairs. But I'm a swing trader. I am not a day trader. I am not a scalper. So it's pretty easy to cover a lot of pairs when you're swing trading. If I was scalping or something, I would have to focus on just a couple pairs. And I do scalp from time to time. And if I do scalp, it's pretty much always going to be either the euro dollar or gold because I think those are really good pairs to scalp. But if you do join my membership, you do have to be aware that for the most part, I don't even look at anything below the 1 hour time frame. I have no desire to scalp. So if you do join my membership, just be aware that I do not scalp. I'm not looking at anything below the 1 hour time frame. And for the most part, I take all my trades between the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Like I said, the website's right here, fxpipcollector.com. You can cancel at any time if you're not happy, but I definitely think you will be very satisfied because you're probably going to be making so much money that you will definitely, definitely be satisfied. So anyways, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the weekend, and as always, thank you and happy trading to everyone.